Hey guys, it's Rai Thistlethwayte from Thirsty Merc with Lauren Yates on Rave It Up.
Take me back to the sweet times, the hot nights. Everything is gonna be alright in the summertime.
I did hear before Thirsty Merc came about, you and Phil were like a live jazz duo, and you're working as a session musician. Is that correct?
Yeah, we met after studying jazz music at Sydney's Conservatorium of Music. We'd, go to gigs, watch other bands play. We ended up playing in a lot of jazz combos around Sydney. And we also shared a love of, classic rock and blues and the other sort of associated styles to jazz. A lot of these blues was really on a lot of levels for us what rock came out of, and it sort of was also what jazz came out of. So that was sort of how we ended up hanging out and becoming friends, I guess, musical associates. But yeah, we just got along great and went out to a lot of venues and just hung out at night, and we were, in our early 20s and just enjoying life, So we decided to start working together after that.
So how did you originally find your love for jazz? Were you always a bit musical when you were a kid?
I was very musical as a kid. I was always into music, playing piano and playing guitar and a bit of bass guitar. My parents were musical. My mum plays piano and my dad plays guitar and bass, so they were sort of teaching and performing, and they were both teachers. So, there was a sort of educational element in the house, and also a sort of an excitement, to sort of get out there and perform. So jazz, the central, a lot of people think jazz is sort of, double bass, piano, red wine, smoky jazz clubs in, late night sort of situations.
It's the stuff that's in the movies. So
yeah, that kind of image. And it certainly, obviously has that element to it historically. But I think that the real defining element of jazz music is that more than any other style of music, in terms of Western music, it's really all based around improvisation.
Yeah,
so that's the
an
strongest
way to look at it.
Yeah, so if you sort of take that element as the strongest suit of jazz, then there's something very exciting about spontaneity in anything, in theatre, in comedy, in music, or even in any sort of performance style. An element of improvisation is always really, really exciting, and that's what really drew me to it. People going for something, the audience and the performer doesn't really know how it's all going to end up, if they're going to land that somersault, but when they do, and if they can, more often than not, then it's a really, really exciting thing. So that's sort of what it was, that sort of element that brought me to jazz. And again, it's sort of harmonically in terms of the chord progressions and sort of some of the harmonic and melodic elements of it. There's a strong blues underpinning in jazz historically as well. So that was yet another reason why the blues was sort of like a core type of musical idiom to sort of draw from.
And I must say, I actually never really thought, before researching you, never really thought of you doing jazz. I think because I've always seen you at Thirsty Merc, I'm like, yeah, okay, he's, pop rock guy sort of thing, But it's really interesting, I must say, because you're saying with all that improvisation, it's that whole experience you're getting and all that practice, I guess. Right? Yeah,
well, the other thing about jazz is it's sort of, after, it was always actually it was actually a commercial type of music in the swing era and before that. But when artists such as Charlie Parker and Miles Davis and some of these other guys, or John Coltrane, a lot of the famous, and just the time that those guys started bringing, I guess, an intellectual side to the music in terms of it growing as an art music, a real theoretical kind of knowledge base and all that kind of stuff. Then it also was interesting to me because it gave me a grounding to perform in other musical styles. If you understand a lot about the harmonic element of where chords come from and the direction that they're going from, and the qualities of what they mean, and how to sort of paint with the momentum of certain types of melodies and the momentum of certain types of tensions and releases that chords give. It actually helps you write songs in a popular style. It helps you be spontaneous if you need to teach someone a song really quickly at a covers gig, if you're doing a cover band gig, if you need to arrange, a horn section, you can utilize a sort of jazz harmony understanding to sort of get you through a lot of different situations. So it galvanized my sort of grounding to become a professional musician, even if I wasn't going to end up playing jazz on all my shows. So it was a good knowledge base to have.
You're
and
so
something
talented.
Oh, stop it! But no, I don't know. Just constant learning process, really.
Yeah.
Something I'm still working towards.
So when starting the band, did you not want to do jazz anymore, or was there a hidden love for pop rock, and you're like, yeah, I need to?
Oh, not at
start
all.
this band?
I'd never sort of saw anything as cannibalising anything else. I sort of thought that it's just sharing is caring. Keep adding musical styles and musical strands to your sort of bow, and keep kind of adding elements. And the more you can learn, the more you have an overview of where you're at, and the more you can kind of have awareness of all sorts of musical styles. And that's kind of my general openness that I want to have. And I think I try and play jazz and improvised music even more than I ever did on a lot of levels. I try and be open to lots of different things, and I also try and not discriminate if something's very simple and very sort of compact and has a strength to the melody, which is just a couple of words which resonate in your mind. I mean, I was just thinking about that song "Walking on a Dream," Empire of the Sun. It's the first line in the song, "Walking on a Dream," and I'm just thinking that's such a strong image. It's a beautiful emotional concept, and it's a beautiful creative concept. And the song starts with that, and it's almost like that's all you really need to know, and it's so, as soon as you kind of set off on that journey, suddenly I'm already almost mentally and emotionally and spiritually walking on a dream with the singer in that
They've
song.
set the scene.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. It's not about anything except saying something that's creatively honest and that's got some sort of clarity to it, and that's really. It doesn't matter what sort of musical style you're playing, as long as you're able to say whatever you are with clarity.
So does that mean maybe we can expect different genres of albums for Thirsty Merc, eh?
Well, I would
Maybe.
hope so. I would hope we can vacillate in and out of different genres and
That'll be
incorporate
really
different
cool.
styles.
Wouldn't that be cool? I think that'd be cool. Yeah. And when you were young, was there any other careers that you wanted to pursue, or was it always music? Did it always make you really...
Yeah, music was sort
passionate?
of... Well, look, I mean, I was interested in some sort of visual arts on a level, and I've got a bit of a hack hobby version of photography and some sort of content creation background in some sort of visual stuff. And my older brother's a very talented visual artist, so I probably got that from him. And my grandma was a watercolour, professional watercolour artist, and she taught and did a lot of different things with her art, had a lot of exhibitions. So I think I got that from her side of the family. And I was always interested in the psychology of relationships, a bit of a kind of delving into that sort of world. And I think that, that could have been something that if I hadn't been into music, I could have gone into that world. Songwriting gave me a sort of ambient way to kind of document and comment on
Different
the
things.
relationships with yourself, the relationship of where you are in the world, and also with other people. But I wasn't much good at sport, wasn't much good at sort of focusing on physics and maths and chemistry and all that kind of stuff. And I just, I didn't really have the physique to be in the rugby team at school. So it's sort of like, I just kind of went. My younger brother was a good sportsman, and my dad was a great sprinter and that kind of stuff. But I was
So
more
they
into.
did that.
Yeah,
You did
they were
the-
good at that stuff. Music seemed to just be inherently within me, and I just was drawn to it.